What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy KB Reacts, man, and I'm back with another video, man. And today we got people who people who outlived insane prison sentences. Man, bro, not jail. We're talking about prison sentences, bro. Let's check it out.
This convict outlived a life sentence. Welcome back, Charlie here. These criminals were sentenced to decades behind bars, but lived longer than their prison sentences. From people wrongly sentenced to decades in jail, to dangerous criminals set free after serving more than 70 years. First, we have to look at Ricky Jackson. Can you imagine being in prison for 40 years of your life for a crime you didn't commit? Well, that actually happened.
Bro, that's terrible, bro. 40 years in prison and you didn't do anything. You was wrongfully, bro. Like, I know hearing a judge tell you, "Oh yeah, you going for 40 years," like, bruh. And then when you get out, what would you do?
To this man. When Ricky Jackson was only 19 years old, he was arrested for a crime.
Bro, I'm 19 right now.
Crime he did not commit. Police said he took the life of a salesman named Harry Franks. The only evidence cops had was a witness statement from a 13-year-old named Eddie Vernon. Aside from that one witness, there was zero physical evidence.
Bro, the only witness was a 13-year-old? And y'all put this man behind bars for 40 years? Bro, that gotta be like the biggest lawsuit in history. I ain't gonna lie. It has to be. Bro, your only witness was a 13-year-old. And you sentenced this man to 40 years.
Despite this, Ricky Jackson was found guilty. He was initially given the death sentence, but after several appeals, this was changed to a life sentence. Ricky was sent to prison in 1974. He thought he was going to die behind bars, but in 2013, the witness, Eddie Vernon, broke down in tears. Eddie admitted he did not see Ricky take the life of Harry Franks, and instead was coerced into saying this by cops. It turned out Eddie Vernon never even saw the attack take place. This shocking revelation meant that Ricky Jackson was finally released. He was given freedom in 2014 after spending 4 decades behind bars. But sadly, this meant he was now an old man at the time. Ricky Jackson was given $18 million in compensation, but some say that's not enough for all of those.
That's a lot of money, but like 40 years, bro. Psst, I ain't gonna lie. I need 100,000. Nah, I'm just playing. 100,000. Nah. I don't know. Money, bro. Money. I don't think you're gonna be able to get that back though. But I will say the money will probably, well, I know for a fact it's gonna make the experience better, but it's like, bro, like 40 years of my life, bro. Like, I went in as a young kid and I walked out as like an old man, bro. I'm not gonna get them years back, bro.
Decades lost. But would you take $18 million to lose 40 years of your life? Personally, I definitely wouldn't. Moving on, we have to look at Betty Smithee. Betty Smithee is America's longest-serving female inmate. In 1963, this woman took the life of a minor. For this crime, she was given a life sentence. But while she was behind bars, she managed to escape 4 times, although she was caught again every time. Eventually, she decided to stop trying to escape and instead improve her life. She got educated behind bars and began writing poetry. In 2003, Betty applied for parole. She was rejected, but in 2012, she appealed again, and this time she was finally freed. She spent 49 years behind bars, but was finally made a free woman at 69 years old. Some said she should never have been released due to her crimes, but the judge believed Betty had changed behind bars. What do you think? Is 49 years in prison enough or not? Moving along.
Nah. She was escaping so many times, they just let her go. I feel it. I feel them on the fact of like she bettered her life. But bro, you killed the kid, bro. The kid not gonna be able to live his life no more. 49 years. I don't know. She gotta go back. Plus to add on the years that she tried to escape, knowing that she was wrong. I don't think some poems ain't gonna fix that, bro.
We have to look at Thomas Trantino. In 1963, Thomas Trantino got drunk. He then got into an altercation with 2 cops and ended their lives. He was arrested a few days later and, in court, was given the death penalty. He was on death row for 8 years until 1971. That was when New Jersey abolished the death penalty, meaning that Thomas's sentence was changed to life behind bars. While he was locked up, Thomas wrote 2 books. In 2002, he applied for parole and, surprisingly, was released. He spent 39 years in prison, making him New Jersey's longest-serving prisoner. Some people, especially cops, were annoyed that he was released. But do you think nearly 4 decades is enough for what Thomas did? Moving along, we have to look at Joseph Ligon. In 1953, 15-year-old Joseph Ligon was sentenced to life in prison. You see, Joseph had got drunk and decided to do some robberies. This caused 6 men to be injured and 2 men to lose their lives. Joseph Ligon was found guilty for what he did and was sentenced to life behind bars. Decades went by, but in 2016, the law changed. It was ruled that life sentences for juveniles were unconstitutional. As a result, Joseph was released in 2017. He had spent 68 years behind bars, going in at age 15 and leaving at age 83. But here's the surprising thing. Although Joseph was free to go, he refused. He had spent 68 years behind bars and was too used to jail life. So instead, he preferred to stay in prison, which is where he still is to this day. Next, we have to look at Charles Ford. In 1952, this man was sentenced to life in prison and spent 64 years behind bars, all for a crime he did not commit. He was not even at the scene of the crime. He had allegedly taken someone's life. Some said that Charles was profiled by the judge and jury, meaning that despite the little evidence, he was still given a life sentence. It turned out Charles's lawyer never submitted an appeal. He was 20 when he went into prison and was 84 years old when he came out, meaning that he spent a whopping 64 years behind bars. Charles was released into a nursing
for a crime he didn't commit, bro. They gotta stop this, bro. Like, how, bro? How all these years you come to figure out that he didn't commit the crime? How 60 years later you come out that, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's wild, bro, because I can just only imagine, bro, like going to jail for a crime that I didn't commit and they take 60 years of my life, bro.
Home as he was too old to look after himself. So while he was released, he basically lost his entire life to prison. When Charles was released, he began crying in court. Next, we have to look at...
They ain't give my mans no money or nothing. I just sent him to a retirement home.
John Bunz. This man is New York's oldest inmate. He ended the life of his wife of 17.5 years. John Bunz and his wife Virginia got into an argument. Things escalated and John used a hammer to end Virginia's life. John Bunz was given a life sentence for what he did. He was set to be released when he was aged 112, but instead he was released early when he was age 94. He was released in order to get medical care. That's because prisons find it too hard to look after people who are so old. But in 2014, at the age of 94, John Bunz passed away. He is still the oldest ever inmate New York has had. Moving on, we have to look at Harvey Stewart. Harvey Stewart is a man who's been to prison many times throughout his life. In 1951, he was given a 10-year sentence for armed robbery. He was released but was soon put back in jail. This was for ending the life of a man named James Laird. Harvey Stewart escaped prison many times, but was quickly recaptured every time. He was later released in 1985 after serving only 9 years. But only 16 months later, Harvey was arrested yet again, this time for robbing a bank. This guy really does love jail. He served 59 years behind bars, and was finally released in 2011. This was mainly because of his old age and declining health. He was 83 years old by the time he was released. He outlived all of his family and friends, which meant he had no prison visits in over a decade. When Harvey Stewart was interviewed about his time in prison, he said this: "Imagine that, 60 years down in this damn hole. I wouldn't recommend it." Harvey's right, he really did waste his entire life behind bars. I think this man is proof that crime is not worth it. Next, let's look at John Franzese. John Franzese was a member of one of the USA's most deadly mafias. That is, the Colombo crime family. He soon gained a reputation as one of the mafia's most dangerous thugs. He claims to have ended over 50 lives, but he was never convicted for this. Instead, he was given a life sentence for a different crime. That was orchestrating many bank robberies around the USA. He was given 50 years behind bars. In 2011, John was released at the age of 93. In 2011, at the age of 93, John Franzese was given an extra 8 years behind bars. This was for extortion and loan sharking. In 2017, he celebrated his 100-year-old birthday behind bars, and was released later that year. In total, John Franzese spent over 40 years in the can, meaning that he basically lost half of his life. I guess that's the price you pay when you're in the mob. Finally, let's look at James Moore. In 1962, James Moore ended the life of a 14-year-old named Pamela Moss. He was given a life sentence. While in prison, he did various jobs and also got an education. He requested to be released 20 times, but every time the judge said no. That was until June of 2022. He was finally released after spending 60 years behind bars, but he is now in full-time care and had to have both of his legs amputated. Now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below, do you think life sentences should be allowed?
100%. Depends on the crime, bro. Like, I ain't gonna get too deep in it, but man, bro got out of prison after 60 years and had to get his legs cut off. That's real karma right there, guys. That's why you don't do dirt. But anyway, make sure y'all boys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all subscribe to your boy, bro. I'm up and coming with this, bro. And let me know how y'all day was going today. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all boys for tuning in, man, and I'm out.